Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you a Vice split guide video kind of thing. You know how this goes. I wanted to show you all what I found that has helped me play Vice on split. So here we go. Alright, as always with me, we are starting on the A site. And a bit of a disclaimer and I guess an apology. If you saw this video the first time around, my bad. I didn't realize some of the audio doubled. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. But also, this might not be as long or in depth, or I guess it will be in depth, but not as long as other ones, simply because I came to realize that this map is not as good for Vice as I thought it was initially. There's some cool things you can do still, but overall, I don't. You're not dethroning Cypher. You're probably still better than Killjoy on this map. Um, Probably better than Chamber, but just overall, uh, there's too many finicky things that I'll also show in this, so you know what to watch out for when playing Vice on this map. But first off, we have this one. Just like you can with Sage, just immediately once barrier drops, do it so that you're not getting an angle on you.
Placing wall trap.
Throw all there. That'll give you immediate control, because now you know they cannot come through here without triggering the wall. Now, if they do that immediately, you have the information somebody's there, maybe get another rotate over, but no matter what, you're getting 7 seconds of value out of your wall compared to a Sage wall. And also, if I'm throwing that wall, I'm probably throwing this flash at the beginning of the round for two reasons. One, if people decide to rush you after throwing that wall, it'll usually catch them. Because if they rush you and they don't hug the wall, if they do, power to them, right? They're big brain, but you'll see not too many people are actually doing that. What'll probably happen is they go, all right, we got them, but you already have this flash here. So that's pretty good because usually they don't know how far back you've retreated, and especially if you at the start of the round throw the wall and you dump back and you kind of just hold for it, they're going to have to do a little bit more than just this, hugging the wall for it. And if they hug the wall and you're already a little bit further back to give yourself a better angle, they're getting blinded. Now, the other thing about this blind that I really want to talk about on this side, I guess this map overall, but especially on this side, is that you have to be careful, really careful where you place this, because it will not flash. It will not full flash a lot of the time because of how this map is set up and what you have to clear. So, for example, you have this one that you've probably seen everybody throw by now. You have these walls, trigger it, whatever. Maybe you even want to do a wall here so you know that even better, but I'll talk about why this is a bad wall in a second. Alright, that wall gets tricked there. But where are you playing besides box? Or there's a little hole where that's triggered where you can capitalize off of it. If you're all the way back here, alright, fine. That one works too. But also, if you play anywhere deeper, you've kind of just wasted any potential of this wall.
Retrieving flash.
So, that's the other thing. Just bait out. Don't hurt too many places to play. That's why you want to put this a little bit inward. This is probably the best one. Starting out, you go, well, but if they do that, they can jump out and then, be down. Yeah. So that's the other thing about where this issue lies. This one right here. This is about the earliest you can throw it before, or so that it falls down. Just about there, okay? This one I found is better for post plant than actually defense, because too many people will come on, trigger your wall, not really notice it, and then that's when you have a flash. Let's just throw that one there for the sake of time. That there, they'll be flashed, and then they end up finding themselves backing over to this corner, and then you could shoot those. Yeah, that one's been more effective
Retrieving flash.
post plant than defense for me. Then you have these two walls. You can throw one
Wall set.
here that's deeper, so that after you've conditioned people to like, oh, the Vyse didn't throw her wall there. We can go to this site. Awesome. Then it's a little bit deeper, and people aren't expecting it. They swing out, pop,
Blinding crack.
pop, bam.
Retrieving flash.
But this other one
Placing wall trap.
is an earlier trigger. Now, if they are wise to it, there's a very slim chance that they just creep on and do that. Also, I'm fairly confident that it will still trigger this way, but I just say that because I've never had somebody do this creep up against me while throwing this wall. But this is also just a one and done wall that if you're playing an angle that you kind of want to get the early on, it's better right here. And somebody trips that wall because they're really not expecting it, that one's fine. And then you're also throwing razor vines, or you have these razor vines.
Thorns are alive.
They'll let you know if they're coming out or trying to crunch their way into that corner.
Thorns
Those are also
activated.
just good in general, because as you can see, it does still go up top, covers the bottom. And these, the reason I'm not a fan of these so much is because, or pre-placing this one so much, is because it's on the ground and people can just find a way to break it, shoot it, whatever. Because they'll know that you're probably playing on the site. So that's about the area you want to throw your razor vines after your wall has been triggered and you got the kill. Usually you can get the kill in the 7 seconds that somebody's blinded right there, and then you can toss them about there
Thorns.
to stop whatever other hit. Kind of same with this one, but that means that you're coming a little bit further out, and there's a good chance somebody can see you either trying to throw it or they're breaking it because they could be playing up heaven by that point. But that's also why I really like throwing these.
Thorns activated.
As you can see, covers quite a majority, even falls down. They have to deal with it if you throw these. But also razor vines that sometimes I'll throw. This one, not as much. I very rarely play ramp, but
Thorns are alive.
this will stop people from pushing and trying to jump over and do anything goofy that way. But these will cover both.
Thorns activated.
If somebody tries to split on you, which you'll see when you're playing Vyse a lot of the times, that's what'll happen. Is that people think that, oh, the adaptation against going against Vyse is we can't go straight through mains. He has those covered. We're going to go through split. You also see how utter dog shit your team is at defending the mid section of any map. So that's why I thought split would be better for, because it's like pretty hard to let go of mid, but you'll be surprised. So this covers both
Thorns activated.
people coming from ramp and coming from mid. Same with this wall.
Placing wall trap.
That'll give you information if they actually are trying to split on you. Throw it later. Again, you can also throw this one, just simply one, but if you know that they have been leaving you alone, as what happens to Sentinel players, is that they'll go, alright, we know that they're playing A. I don't want to go A. Team finally has B on lock. Alright, we're going for the split. And throw that one. Now, if somebody was trying to lurk through mid, can't really do that on you. That also gives you a little bit of cover too, because I know if I'm lurking, it's very dangerous to lurk on this map and just come out through main, right? You always want to get to the cross because that's immediate cover, and you come through here, and then bam through here. Now, this doesn't prevent them from just, creeping down and going boop, 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 boop to split on you from mid, but it does stop them from coming all the way and then getting you from your own spawn. That's that. So that's that wall. You see that I've thrown these walls. This is if I know I kind of want to play back here through heaven and get the angle on that one. Because again, you stop throwing that wall, they go, alright, we'll do the split through ramp. And you can throw either of these two. But this also comes into one of the first issues with the flashes, where you have to make sure that you're throwing it pretty much smack middle on this one because people still want to clear that box and they still have to look that way.
Retrieving flash.
If you are lazy,
Flash placed. Flashing.
you kind of flub yourself for a lot of
Flash.
things. Throw it a little bit over this way to pretty much the same effect,
Retrieving flash.
but you have to get them before they're turning to clear that. And that's probably the biggest issue I'm having with using Vyse on A, is because you have to throw it in places where you're not going to flash yourself.
Blinding crack.
Flash people come from heaven and from main.
Blinding.
Alright.
Flashing.
But at the same time, it has to be good timing, better than other sites for Vyse and other maps for Vyse, where
Blinding.
they're not already trying to clear some particularly common spots.
Flashing.
Alright, so you
Retrieving
go,
flash.
alright, we'll put it on this side.
Flash placed.
You know, you're still going to have the problem here, but going to have less of the problem this way.
Flashing. Retrieving flash.
But then, now you can't play here because
Blinding crack.
now it's facing you. So of course you play back here. But
Retrieving flash.
say all that to say that if I'm going to throw a flash and play on A, I found that this is just my best friend. Throw probably this wall eventually. Hear them coming. Play back behind screen.
Drones are
Pop
live.
this. Maybe throw this one too. But after I hear the wall trigger,
Blinding.
that's my first one. Then I either, again, if I know that they have started going through heaven to try to get to me, that's my one. This is
Drones
my
are live.
second. Because, as you can see, it covers that. But sometimes you might want to throw it
Launching forward.
even deeper
Rip and tear. Launching
for a
forward.
few reasons. Because if you throw
Drones
it there,
activated.
that's more time that you have to buy yourself before they start trying to clear you out on both sides, if you already throw that one heaven. And it does get somebody running to plant there. So you have a little bit more control if you do that. But besides that, if I'm not throwing one of these two, I'm just playing
Drones
fullback
Drones are live. Flashing.
and throw one of those ones.
Retrieving flash.
So that's pretty much all of the neato things for A. This, of course, is post plant. I threw that just because I realized that I didn't say it, but I figured I should say it because common sense isn't as common sometimes when that. But at the same time, for post plant, the thing that gets weird is you have decent trips for flank on this map starting here, because if you all are taking too long and you're still like stuck here, this one is good early info on somebody coming from flank. At the same time, I prefer this one the most. You can also, you know, say you all split from heaven or from mid and you're falling out of heaven. This is good just as a follow-up, because you know that when people are trying to retake, that if they trigger this, they're going to be stuck on the rafter. Not so much because you can't really, as you can see,
Wall set.
throw it comfortably in the rush. You can, if you want to, do that there, but hey, power to you. Pretty much all of A. For that one, just the Sage Wall save situation. You have immediate control over mid. You know they can't come through mid now without triggering that in any way, shape, or form. Oh, I should also mention, the other thing that'll make me stop throwing this wall pretty quickly is if they have raise double blast packing over showstopper, you know, all the fancy tricks, jet updrafting over to here. Same thing with Omen sometimes. Now, another thing that is why I might throw these is because of that same thing. And Omen thinks that they're being sneaky. They threw a smoke. You don't see it as much nowadays, but, you know, they thought they were being sneaky.
Thorns activated.
Throw it a little bit over just so you can cover this ledge too. And they teleport up here for the smoke. You hear that first crunch, firing squad just immediately. Especially after you've probably flashed because somebody else came with them. Perfect. Same with Jet, same with Raze. This stops anybody from doing that little fly up thing. But yeah. I should also talk about this other flash. Come on.
Flash place.
There you go. That I Miles may vary on that one. Sometimes it's been my best friend. Other times it's been my greatest enemy. Because clearly you still can't do the thing where you play back here. But it will cover
Flashing.
heights that keeps people from being tradable on some of the walls that you throw.
Retrieving flash.
Especially if you throw it up there and they're coming from there. So, that's that. But yeah, mid, really nothing besides that one wall. There's nothing really sneaky about throwing the thorns or, yeah, the razor vines.
Launching thorns.
Because if you try to throw it there, don't get coverage by that. You want to throw it at this corner.
Thorns activated.
Sure, but as you can see, they still have room to just go through there, and you've kind of just wasted. Anything out of this area is pretty much wasted value with the vines, because they'll probably see them before you have a good indicator of why you should be popping.
Thorns are live.
Now, if you have somebody playing mid right there that also has a molly, a gecko, a raise, sure, that way you know that they can't run away from this one, and they kind of have to run into your teammate, but a lot of it just isn't worth it. You see, I've thrown these walls, specifically these, because this will keep them from just hopping up on top and clearing you or having a better angle on if you're playing somewhere that way. Especially if you're playing here though, like this one, because
Thorns activated.
nobody expects you to kind of razor vine yourself. Now you have to you have to be careful and not actually make a sound by moving, but again, you have a little bit of wiggle room. So there's that. And I'll throw this one often while I'm playing on site actually, just because I know that if they're coming out this way and maybe have some information, maybe a teammate is playing heaven for me,
Thorns are live.
they can't really do anything past that. And if they do shoot it, now I have the information that somebody is coming. So that's the other thing about Vyse that people forget, is that even if you're not getting the slow and the damage out of the razor vines, if people break them, that is your second and third trip. You now have the information that somebody did not want to bother with that slow, so you know they're coming and you can brace it. This wall also, just once it gets tripped, kind of keeps people from doing anything too goofy goober, especially if you're playing here. Then you know. And if I'm playing here, I'm doing something along the lines of a flash about here for a couple of reasons.
Flashing.
Don't flash yourself. It'll probably flash whoever was here.
There.
If they're spending time looking at that, trying to clear it, guess what? That gives you time to clear them. And also, now this is the good thing about Vyse. Her flashes on B cover pretty much
Blinding.
both sides of the coin.
Retrieving flash.
You have that one, and I'll throw this one maybe as a post plant if I'm coming out of heaven. But also, it is kind of just nice when I know that I can control the information coming there. So there's that. And while I'm up here, I'll show you a lineup for probably the best razor vines I've come across in pretty much any of these map walkthroughs. If you aim your crosshair at where, you know, the white corner, that white corner over there after being in this
Launching
one,
thorns.
bam.
Thorns activated.
And look at what it covers and what people are probably not throwing utility to clear. If somebody dedicates a nade just to clear that,
Thorns
they're
activated.
goofy, but you got your value out of it. This one didn't really have a set lineup for it. Just
Thorns
if
are
you think
live.
that you might need this one because you've thrown one of these diagonal walls
Thorns are
and
live.
you feel like you're getting pressed, maybe you're playing here, that'll give you the information and the slow for all of that. So that's that. But You'll probably see me throw these razor vines more often than not. Because again, it'll be a trip for the information without having to blow it. You can't really do the deep walls on B to the same effect. Now, again, if I'm doing that, I'm throwing a flash right at Barry,
Placing wall trap.
throwing that one for information to stop. Just pure information, no. Because they can still play all the way back here and be peeking. And they can still grab orb. But once they are about here, that means that they've stopped their own push for 7 seconds and you have information that somebody is around here. Could it be a lurker? Sure, but you have information. Then you have your flash as backup information to know if you want to play off of it.
Retrieving flash.
These are razor vines that everybody kind of throws. Doesn't do much for you. Because by the time they're about here to throw it or to activate it, they'll probably see it and break it. Now you can move it slightly over to make it harder on them.
Thorns are live.
But it doesn't cover enough of the walkout for me to throw those often. And you'll see that I found a way to put razor vines here. And here comes more disappointment with Vyse on split.
Thorns activated.
Doesn't do anything. Doesn't do fucking anything. So kind of like how you can put cipher cages. Doesn't do anything. But if you're curious and it does get fixed,
Thorns are live.
pretty sure it was something like right about here.
Launching thorns. Launching thorns.
Something like that. I was aiming.
Rip and tear. Thorns active. Thorns are live.
It was something along those lines. Can't remember right now. I kind of just found it. Thought it was cool. And then was promptly disappointed. So maybe they'll fix it eventually and then I'll come back and show you what the lineup is. But for now,
Thorns are live.
absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. The walls, you can do it off of this garbage can. Usually standing on this side.
Wall set.
That'll give you the split. So now you can deal with whoever after they thought that it was pretty much safe. Of course, a barrier one just stops them from coming out of here altogether. But if you feel like you're him that day, you think you're that guy, pal, you can just, you know, try to take on the horde, pop that,
Thorns activated.
pop that,
Thorns activated.
get whoever you feel is needed. Sometimes I'll throw this one too, but again, that'll be a trip backslash. If they don't deal with it, they're fucked because they have BAM
Thorns are live. Thorns
and BAM to
activated.
worry about. And that covers a lot. Also, same reasoning sometimes with Vyse. It's just good to just slowly move your wall back once they think that you are dedicated to a site and switch up, yada yada yada.
Placing wall trap.
Even throw that after a certain point. So, there's that. And as for the flash, this has been one of my favorites because it covers people coming immediately here.
Flashing.
Now again, you have to pop it before they're already clearing here. Right? Or before they're already
Flashing.
clearing there. So you have to have your timings down great. But also, it does cover
Flashing.
having to
Retrieving flash.
pretty much all of these will,
Lighting trap.
like pretty much covering the wall. But at the same time, you have to make sure that you're not throwing it too far over so that the
Retrieving
pillar is
flash.
blocking it. Now, if you want to just make sure that
Flash placed.
once they get to this point they're still getting flashed, sure you can throw it back there. But as you can see,
Retrieving flash.
that is what it is. This is a post-plant wall. Don't think you need too much explanation on that one. Post-plant razor vines. But also, you're probably throwing these trips to cover anything. And as you can see, it looks like it stops there, but just to even show that if you throw it at that wall, oh, now it does it.
Wall set.
Yeah, as you can see, it disappears. It just looks gone. So it still covers the entire length. So if you forget
Placing wall
and throw
trap.
it that way, it's not the end of the world. So that'll give you early information on people coming back here. So yeah, that's pretty much all of Split, which was again kind of disappointing. It's hard to pull Vyse out of some of these spots, but at the same time, your flash has to be. You have to have better timings with your flash than you do for most of the other maps that I've played Vyse on. Because once they start clearing some of these hard lefts and hard rights, the flash is going to just
Flash placed. Flashing.
be ineffective.
Retrieving flash.
So that's the things to watch out for and to use with Vyse that I've found so far that have helped and both hurt me. So yeah, if you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.